Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, everyone. Welcome
Good
to the
evening.
chair
Good
across the
evening.
aisle. Yeah, we're at 8 p.m. already.
Yeah.
Podcast for real people, real stories, and meaningful talks about the world around us. And today I'm joined with my good friends Kevin Howard and Quez.
What's up?
And
What's up?
and
Exactly. Hello, everyone. And Coach mentioned the fact that this is national now, because I mean, you not only got the great state of Florida representing on
I
two
got
thirds of this conversation, you got
clear across
Washington
the
State,
state,
clear
Washington
across
State.
Pacific Coast action going on here in the state of Florida.
We
Right.
are growing. We are big moving. We are
That's right.
national. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe someday we'll be
International.
international.
That's right.
Who
That's
knows?
next. That's next. You gonna have a guest on, and they're gonna be down in Panama somewhere and stuff like that, telling us, yeah, Noriega is still kicking, whatever. I don't know.
Is Noriega still kicking? Is he
No,
still in prison? I
I,
think he.
I never heard him leave prison, so I don't know if he died
I
in
don't think
prison.
he
Is
ever.
he still in prison, or what the
He would be about
situation?
103 at this point, but
Probably. But yeah, so before you hit the record button, I was talking about. You asked what was new going on. Well, there's an exciting new mayor in Seattle, and you talk about a social justice warrior. So Katie Wilson, right? Not a politician. Her initial appearance on the Seattle scene was that she organized public transit riders into a union that forced the mass transit system in Seattle to change their routes to better serve working people, and to adjust their rates, and the number of buses that they had, and all these things. But she organized the ridership first in the nation, right, to do that, right? Okay, so this is what she's all about. And so in a very contested race, just like they had in New York with Mamdani, when you had Cuomo and the entire establishment, both on the Democratic and Republican side. Trump was chiming in against Mandami. Okay, you had the whole establishment against him, and he won anyway. That was Katie Wilson in Seattle. And so now that these mayors have gotten in, you know how it is. Everyone is going to try to stack against them to make sure they fail, because we can't have this. The establishment will never stand on a working person getting into a position of power trying to do something. They're going to try to make an example. So we are gathering the strength behind Katie Wilson in Seattle. I'm in the southern part of the state. I'm moving to Seattle to help her. I'm coming up with a program called, and we've talked about it in your other podcast, the price gap agreement, the way to bring sustainable, affordable housing to the city of Seattle, where real estate prices are crazy. Take the most expensive neighborhood in Miami, and that's just average in Seattle. It's out of control,
Oh,
right? Right.
that's
wow.
crazy.
And so we're going to bring sustainable, affordable housing to Seattle, and we could do it at meaningful scale. We're talking like 10,000 homes a year, right? I got a plan to do it. I'm working with her transition team. She just got sworn in. She's trying to find out where the bathrooms are. At the end of the day, they need wins out of the box, because people are going to try to make her fail. Right. And so that's what I'm doing. I've been pitching her economic development and housing policy people on this concept, the price gap agreement. And it's a public private thing. So it's not going to be like new taxes on the wealthy or something like that. It's actually going to be inviting the wealthy to participate in the program, where they can get a return on investment, but it actually will make housing home ownership. And we're talking green certified home ownership, renewable energy powered housing, right? Available to the middle class in Seattle. And so we're trying to make it happen, man. That's the new thing on my agenda.
That is,
Okay.
Quez. How do you feel about your housing situation? Is it affordable? Is it out of control? Or
I'm gonna just say, honestly, I'm gonna say just all around, I think it is kind of out of control. Its prices is high. It's like from the last podcast when we was talking. I just think it's hard right now for people to live anywhere to survive with paying rent because it's high.
It's real
And
high.
the job market right now, for me, looking at it, it's not really too good.
and
That's
you
all.
have
Yeah.
so Kevin, jump right in. Just say, okay, imagine if you lived here in Florida, because Florida is out of control, if you ask me, on housing, is out of control. And actually, wages are probably lower in Florida than some places in the rest of the United States. And the notion used to be that Florida was more affordable, and it is no longer more affordable, but wages have not followed suit. In
as they
Florida
always do.
especially, is Florida especially. Now, so how would your program work for a young
Okay.
man like Quez with children and a wife?
And so here's okay. This is and it's a little counterintuitive because my program does not target the working class, but it is intended to help the working class. And how does that work? Okay. If the inflationary pressure for rent has occurred has accelerated over the last 5 years. And since we came out of COVID, last 4 years, since we came out of COVID, primarily because the value of houses have gone up so fast and the cost of borrowing, the interest rate for a 30-year mortgage have gone up so fast that now middle class households cannot afford to buy a house in the average American city. And what that has done is that allowed people who own rental properties to recognize that there's a whole new category of renter who have what used to be house buying money, but they can't afford to buy a house, and that allows them to raise the rent. What that has done is raised rents nationwide on average in the range of 40 to 45% across the country.
Well,
Okay.
we've seen that in Florida, that
Yeah,
45% increase.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And what that has done to the working class is where affordability used to be rent at 30% of your take home pay. Now across the country, working class folks are spending up to like 60% or more. In Seattle, it's like 70 to 80% of their take home pay on rent. And what they're doing is they literally are eating less. Working class families across the country, 52 to 54%, it's estimated, report food insecurity. The idea that at some point over the course of the year, they are eating less because they're spending so much of their take home pay on rent, right? So, this is what those middle class households who now can't afford to buy a house, this is what they happen to be doing to the working class. They're not trying to do it on purpose because they don't want to pay higher rents, but they don't have a choice because they can't afford a house. So that's where the owners of these rental properties are basically squeezing and tightening the economics on all these households. So my solution is say, okay, let's take these credit qualifying middle class families who the only reason they can't buy a house today is because it's far more expensive than it was just 4 years ago. So they used to be able to afford to buy a house, right? And the cost of money is much higher. So the prevailing 30-year fixed rate mortgage is 6.7% right now. In 2021, at the beginning of 2021, it was 2.9%. I mean, I closed in March of 2021 and my mortgage was $517,000. That was my mortgage, right? Okay. My interest rate was 2.5% fixed for 30. Okay. So that my mortgage payment was $2,138. I'm telling you, people who are listening to that, I feel the judgment. They're like, how dare you? I mean, I
Uh-huh.
might as well have cursed on in the camera right there,
But
right?
that's just your
Because
mortgage payment, but you
that
still
was
have
my mortgage.
taxes,
Yeah, yeah,
insurance.
yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. All those things still exist. Taxes and insurance still exist. But at 6.7%, that $2,138 for a $517,000 mortgage all of a sudden goes to $4,800.
Right.
Okay, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Things like that. Okay, well, this is what squeezes the ability of middle class families to buy a house, which then means that they have that money higher rents, and so that's what and this is what's smothering the working class right now.
Now,
So
here's what I want you to
so
get out.
because
How
right now
does
we
your
have two
program
million.
work?
Okay, how does it work? Okay, so we'll do a simple example. Okay, let's say a middle class family could afford a $300,000 mortgage at 6.7% today. Okay, but the house costs 400,000. Okay. So they have $100,000 gap in what they could afford. Okay. The price gap agreement will allow an impact investor to provide the $100,000 plus for another 30 to $40,000, swap out the AC and the HVAC and the heating for the house and put high energy efficient heat pumps and heat water pumps in the house, plus solar panels on the roof to make the house completely renewable energy. That's green certified. Okay, that gap in buying that $400,000 house and then adding in another $40,000 to upgrade the utilities and putting the solar panels on top, that's $140,000. So the impact investor says, okay, I'm going to provide the $140,000. The home buyer, the middle class family, they have to be conforming loan credit qualified, which means like FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, full income verification, credit score sufficient, credit qualified for the $300,000 mortgage. They put their 3% down like FHA, that's $12,000. And they show up at the closing table with the $300,000 mortgage, they're $12,000. We show up with $140,000, the price gap agreement. It buys the house for $440,000 to upgraded the utilities and put solar panels. That second position loan at $140,000, right? They don't make any payments on it. They don't pay that until they refinance the house or sell the house. They have to do one of the two in 10 years. They could do it at any time they want, they only have 10 years. And most people could easily refinance it before then. Okay. The interest rate that the investor gets is the IRS break even rate, which for 1 year is 4%. And for 9 years or more, it's 4.9% per year. So the investor is real estate secured, and they're going to earn between 4 and 4.9% a year in interest, right? On that second position. And that only gets paid, it accrues until the homeowner refinances. So even the average appreciation rate across the country is like 6% a year. Right.
Hmm.
Okay. So the home buyer is earning equity on that second position, that $140,000. They're earning equity there because the interest is less than the appreciation of the house, and they're earning equity on the mortgage, the $300,000 mortgage that they're making payments on. So here, a middle class family can buy a home that they would not have been able to afford. It will be fully green certified. That means they pay state minimum utility bills. In the state of Florida, I don't know that you have a state minimum, so that means zero. In Washington State, you're paying $10 a month for utilities because the solar panels are generating your energy, right? Okay. And it's energy efficient. And because we put the $140,000 down on the house, you don't pay mortgage insurance. For people who pay mortgage insurance, that's like $160 a month, right? If you only put 3% down on the house. All those things make that house much more affordable for the home
So
buyer.
how does
And
the
they,
5% go back to the, you said impact investor or hedge fund?
yeah,
How
the
does it
impact,
at the end, right?
yeah, at the end, when they refinance the house, they have
Or
10 years to refinance or sell the house. When they refinance the house, because it's in second position, it doesn't get serviced. The interest on it accrues every year. And the homeowner decides whenever they want to refinance the house and take out that second. Now again, the house is going to earn standard 6% appreciation, over years, over the course of that 10-year period. So they're getting that house, that $400,000 house that we put the high energy efficient utilities in and put the solar panels. Well, that house is probably now worth 450 because of what we did. But by the time they refinance it 5 years later, that house is now worth $600,000. They're only paying the $140,000 plus,
they're
let's say
5%.
4.5%. It's only, if they do it in 5 years, it's only like 4.5% interest a year. That's all they're paying.
So
Right.
let's
It's
present this to a prospective home buyer. Quez, what do you think?
Um.
so you get
Okay.
to buy you get to buy a $400,000
Okay,
house
so
for a
let me do it this
$300,000
way. Let me do
mortgage.
it this way. Okay, let's
Yeah.
start like this way. Okay, let's just begin by making believe that Kevin's the realtor. Kevin's showing you this home you like. Let's call it a
Yeah.
Florida home. So let's start at a 400, not a 500,000. Where did we start before? Did we start at 400? We
We'll
did
start at
start at
400.
4.
Yeah,
We
we did
started
start at
400.
400.
Okay.
400,000.
So okay, Kevin's the real estate broker. He's showing you a $400,000 home. So I know you live in Kissimmee. In
Yeah,
Celebration, he's showing you a $400,000 home. You love it. You're looking at it. You're walking around with your wife and 5 kids. Bedrooms for everybody, or not necessarily bedrooms for everybody, but a bedroom for you and your wife, and a bedroom
yeah,
for 2 kids and 2 kids, right? So say it's a
yeah.
three bedroom, 3 bathroom. You love it. Kevin's the realtor, and he's saying this is how we finance our homes. We have a hedge fund, or you called it an impact investor. That's
Yeah, it's
gonna
in.
that's gonna invest into your home, and he's gonna have no say in the ownership of your home. You want to paint the walls. You want to.
Yeah,
The only
it's your home. You're
the
buying
only
the home.
stipulation is that it's going to be energy efficient. It is going to be energy efficient,
Okay, so
but
what can you elaborate on what you just said? The G efficient. That's what you said.
energy.
Energy.
Like
Energy
Oh, okay,
efficient.
okay, okay.
Kevin's
So
saying, like we're gonna take the HVACs, we're gonna put in the solar panels. It's gonna be a greenhouse. Just call it a greenhouse.
right. So you
Okay.
it
But
will
so
your
we're so
electricity
we're
will
we've got an
be
environmental
renewable.
piece here. We've got an
Yeah.
environmental piece here.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
love
So
this house. You're walking around. He has this person, this hedge. You haven't even met this potential hedge fund or impact investor. What do
you
you
wouldn't even
think?
have to meet the impact investor.
No,
But
you don't.
so let me
I would,
ask
me personally,
Mark.
I would want a little bit more breakdown about what's really going on. So
Let's give you the breakdown right
There
here,
you go,
Quez.
Kevin. There you go.
Okay, here's the breakdown. All right. So when you look at your bills, when you look at how much money you make, you can't you got 3% down for this $400,000 house. In our hypothetical, you got twelve to $15,000 in the bank. But when you look at how much mortgage payment you could afford, right? You can't afford to get the mortgage for a $400,000 house because the interest rate is too high. It makes your
right,
payment too high.
yeah.
But you could afford a $300,000 mortgage. Okay. In other words, you could handle that and still have money for food and money for utilities or whatever. Okay.
Wait
What
one
this,
second. So I'm sorry to cut you off. So basically, what you're saying with what you're doing, you're coming in, making the prices better for people to afford homes.
yes. What
Okay,
I'm
good.
saying is you're going to buy, we're not going to change the price of the home. The home cost, the market says it's 400,000, it's a $400,000 house. We're upgrading the utilities so that your energy efficiency. So, okay, in your apartment or in your home right now, you pay monthly electric bill, right? Okay, imagine it that being state minimum because you're going to be generating your own, and your house will generate its own energy, taking the sunshine because you have solar panels. So your
Right.
utility bill is either going to be zero. I think the state of Florida doesn't have a state minimum, but Coach, you might have to tell me that. In Washington State, the state minimum utility bill is $10, and that's
We
what
don't
you
have an
would pay.
impact fee. So if the ten
Yeah,
dollars is an impact fee, we don't have that.
you don't have
Okay.
that, so you probably it's zero. So the house that you're buying, you're going to buy the $400,000 house for the $300,000 mortgage plus your 3% down. The gap between how much you could afford to pay for the house and what the house costs is provided by an investor who will bring the money to the closing table, and then it will sit there and you don't have to make any payments on it. Okay. When you refinance the house or sell the house over the next 10 years, at that point, the person who gave you the $140,000, the gap between what you could afford to pay and what the price of the house is, they get between 4% interest and 4.9% interest, which is actually really low. For example, right now, if you tried to get a mortgage, your mortgage rate would be 6.7%. This person who's is going to give you this money, and they're only going to get between 4% and 4.9%.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay that yet. You pay it when you refinance the house.
But you are
So now,
contractually bound to
yeah,
refinance the house
yes,
within
exactly.
10 years.
So here you get to buy that house that you like.
But I'm
Your
stuck with the house
your
for 10 years.
huh?
So you said I'm stuck with a house for 10 years? That's what
No,
Trippy
you're not
said?
No,
stuck
you
with the
can
house.
sell it
Oh, okay.
You can sell
anytime.
it at any time. You're buying the
Anytime.
house.
Okay.
And
You
the
own
minute
the
you
house.
sell it, you're out of that contractual
Yeah.
agreement. And you can
It's
either find another contractual agreement similar, or you can decide not to ever do that sort of contractual agreement again.
the
Oh,
only thing
okay.
that's different on you buying that house, Marquez, is you don't have enough money to buy the house. And there's a gap, that the gap between how much you can afford to pay and how much the house costs is covered by this price gap agreement, right? So this investor is willing basically to transfer wealth to you, and how the investor is transferring wealth to you. And we could talk about why they do it, because they do it. There's a big, huge fund of investors doing this type of thing. They just don't do it for housing. Well,
So,
we need
Quez,
to
the
get it.
reason they do it is because 5% is a good return,
So
basically.
you said,
Well,
Generally
no,
but
speaking.
no, no,
you said
no.
they don't
It
do it
is
for
not,
housing.
Coach.
Hold on. You said they don't do it for
Yeah,
housing, so they do it for apartments.
no, they do it for climate technology. They do it for to try to do renewable energy around the country. I mean, all these technical things that most people don't know about. That's what they are investing in right now.
Oh, okay.
And that's fine. We need to apply what they're doing there to housing, because housing is a problem now. So
Mm.
as far as you're concerned, if what this will do is allow you to buy a house, a $400,000 house for $300,000. That's what it does. And that the catch is you pay the difference back in the future. You
Oh,
have
okay.
you have 10 years to pay it back. And you pay it back by refinancing the house. Refinancing the house means that you
Putting it back
pay
on the
off.
market.
Yeah, yeah. Either you sell the house, or you could just another bank can come in and pay off your mortgage and give you a new mortgage. Okay.
Oh, okay, okay.
Now, the
Because
thing
that's the
about it is,
refinancing part of
that's the
it.
refinancing. Here's the thing: the house value goes up every year. Okay. That normally, now there's rare occasions where it doesn't go up, but on the average, and this is like an 80-year average, right? The house value goes up about 6% a year. So when you buy that $400,000 house right now, in 5 years, it might be worth $500,000. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And so how most Americans have earned wealth. How Coach is earning wealth is he bought his house some years ago, and that house, how much more is your house worth today, Coach, than when you bought it?
Well, it's probably triple or more.
Yeah,
Triple.
okay.
Right.
See what I'm saying, Kez?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay,
this
okay.
is this is what happens when you. That's the advantage of owning the house, is that it goes up in value, and you get that increased value, and that's what's going to happen here. So this $400,000 house is going to be, let's say, 500,000 in 5 years. At that point, you could decide, you know what, I have enough value in my house. I could refinance that $140,000. And what I'm saying to you is the interest that you pay on that $140,000 is less than how much your house goes up in value per year, which
Hmm.
means that you're earning equity even in that second position loan. You're because the how much they're going to charge you for that extra money, that $140,000, is less than how your house appreciates, how your house goes up in value. And it's done this way on purpose. I'm trying to tell you, the investor is not getting a good deal, but they're doing it on purpose. There are investors who are willing to take a lower return on investment in order to achieve a social justice goal or a sustainability goal,
So
right?
let me ask
And
this
this,
question.
yeah,
How, when you say that, because it does sound like an absolutely great idea and a great deal for many, many young people, including Marquez, including obviously not me. I'm not a young person, but maybe my kids, right? It does sound like a great idea. So when you say there are investors that are looking to make this social contribution, this social economic
yeah.
contribution, how would you say how much could you think could actually be out there? Could it really house?
Oh, I
Could it
give you an
really solve the
example.
housing crisis in America?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Okay. How
When
about
what would it
this?
take? Let's put figures out
Uh,
there. Would it take 100 billion? Would it
Okay.
take a
Well,
trillion?
here's the thing. Okay. There's something called the sustainable debt market. And if you could put it in your chat GPT and ask chat, how much total fundings did the sustainable debt market have in 2024? It will tell you and the sustainable debt market is the market where investors take a lower return on their investment in order to achieve a social justice goal or a sustainability goal, renewable energy, right? So how much money did that in 2024? $1.74 trillion dollars with a
Oh
T.
wow.
Trillion. Yes, there is so much money willing to help, right? What their concern is they want to make sure it goes to kids. They want to make sure, okay, if they're trying to do a social justice loan,
Well, it's
they're
not just
trying to
Quez.
make
It's
sure.
like I said, it could be my kids. It could be
Oh,
your
no,
kids.
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
I'm
they're
not
trying to
really in
make
a
sure.
position to
No,
help
no,
my kids buy a
I wasn't
house.
trying to be so
No, no, no,
specific with
no,
saying
no.
kids. I'm trying to say they want to make sure it goes to create to repair the wealth and income inequality in the country. The reason why people can't afford to buy houses is because they've been priced out because they don't make enough money, right? Because all the money is going to them. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So there are wealthy people who recognize that, yeah, we kind of overdid it, and now people can't afford to buy a house. So they will be willing to help, right? Do it, and that's what I'm trying to say. You said how much money is out there without this idea, 1.74 trillion in 2024. That grew. I guarantee you that grew in 2025. What I'm trying to say here is there is a lot of money out there, and all they need is a financial instrument that guarantees it will go to the home buyer, to a middle class home buyer, a working class home buyer, right? Because that home buyer is the one they're trying to help. It is a wealth transfer. They are helping that person do something that they can't afford to do. And they are willing to accept a shave, less money than they can make if they bought treasuries, less money than they can make if they
Well, I have to ask
invested
you that
it in the
question because I
market.
was going to ask you on treasuries. What's the return?
Well, it depends on the length of the treasury, right? But what I'm trying to say here is that what these people are saying here is that they don't want to lose their money. They'd like to get their money back. They would like to earn a little bit of money, but what they're trying to do is help the person who doesn't have enough money. Right? That's what they're
So
trying to
is
do.
this
They
so is
literally are
this
trying to transfer wealth back to the person.
is this in effect now or is coming to be in effect like this?
Okay,
So this is kind of like what.
this
Remember
is
when I texted you guys and I said, "Hey, let's talk about a startup." This fell right into that category of
yes,
let's
it's
talk
a
about a
new idea,
startup.
Marquez. This is a
Okay.
So,
new idea that I'm working
so
with the mayor of Seattle. The mayor of Seattle I mean, Seattle is I think Seattle is as big as Miami, if not bigger. I don't know its relative size to Orlando, but it's a major city, on
Yeah.
the West Coast. And she just got elected mayor, and she's a social justice warrior. She is right out of the working class. She is nothing but real. She's not a politician, and she's looking for solutions to help people because they have a housing crisis in Seattle. And so this is an idea I'm bringing to them, and that
Kevin
we can
has her
actually do
ear.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, I have 30 years of banking experience. This is not a complex financial instrument. This can actually work. The only reason it hasn't been done is people with money didn't want to do it. Well, I'm hoping that the problem is bad enough now that they finally do want to do it. And so this is what we're trying to do. And the city of Seattle is going to be I'm going to try to make them the first in nation to do it. But coach, when it scales beyond a local community like Seattle, it
So
can
how
s-
would
it
y'all okay, so how is she taking because I'm pretty sure it's people that's not going to agree with what she's trying to do or what you're trying to do together. So how is she taking that? Like is it people already like not liking what she's trying to do? Basically what I'm
oh
saying.
well, the establishment don't want her to be successful. She is trying to work for working people. She's trying to have the government work for working people. The government haven't been working for working people in 40 years, right? Right. So she's trying to do that. And so there are lots of people who are fighting against her, right? So yes, that is a problem. There's no question about it, which is why talented people not trying to be ego, but I bring 30 years experience from the commercial banking industry, right? Need to come to her assistance to say there
Yeah.
are creative things that we can do to help working people that is not, because what they expect her to do is they expect her to impose a lot of taxes on people who have money. That's what they expect her to do. And she needs to do that too. She does.
Right.
She does need to do that because basically they haven't been paying their fair share. That's the worst part of it is over the last 50 years we've taxed wealth less and less and less, and working people actually pay a higher percentage of their income than wealthy people. Right? So it's ridiculous. So she does need to correct that problem, but wealth is ready to have that fight. That's going to be a hard fight for her to be able to correct that problem. So she's going to chip away at it.
Right.
My idea is an alternative to that,
So,
and it might appeal to wealth because instead of forcing them to pay higher taxes, it's in inviting them to make an investment. They could choose to do it, and they can make money doing it, and they could feel good that they're
oh,
actually
okay.
helping. And that's what
So
I'm
if
saying.
this
So
program were in place in Florida right now, so just say
yeah,
you got with Governor Ron DeSantis, and this place were in Florida, Kevin Marquez could buy a house in
yes.
Florida.
What would do now? Florida is a big state, so if we were to do the program for the whole state of Washington, the whole state of Washington, right, is not as big as Florida, right? It would be a bond of $7 to $9 billion, would allow all eligible home buyers per year, right, who have been priced out of buying a home since 2021, we could help them buy a home across the entire state. For the state of Florida, a big state like state of Florida, it probably would be in the 12 to $15 billion range because your numbers, your population is higher, right?
Right.
But the thing about it is, as I said, this money comes from the sustainable debt market. And the sustainable debt market had total fundings in in 2024 of 1.74 trillion. That is 1,740 billion. Right. Okay, the whole state of Florida, you could make all the eligible home buyers who have been priced out of buying a home in the state of Florida since 2021. You could help all of them buy a home, bridge the gap for about 12 to $15 billion. That's a small bond for the sustainable debt market when they do 1.7 trillion. This is what I'm saying. That is doable. But the best part is it scales nationally. You could have the Federal Reserve do it. The Federal Reserve, there would need to be new legislation, but the Federal Reserve can take the federal their cost of money, the federal funds rate, and they can use the capital desk interest rate swaps. And at the current in the current federal funds rate, the Federal Reserve could offer a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at 4.85% right now.
So you've
You
got,
know,
I think, Quez, are you sold on the idea?
I was going to say what. Okay, so what advice could you give to people that's working, right? What advice could you give to them, or what could they do to be able to not pay high taxes? Something that they can do to change their life to where they can live like the rich, basically.
yeah, I know, Chaz. I tell you, to me, and my daughters are doing it. To me, it's not working for someone else. To me, it's entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
To me, it is working your side hustle, but
Yeah.
it's in your local communities. It's in other words, if you want to do lawn service, or if you want to do house cleaning, or if you want to do, and then your bud over there is doing something else, and it is keeping the money local.
All right.
It is doing your own little entrepreneurial thing.
Which is
Why?
something Quez
Because
started with the pressure
yeah, this
cleaning.
is what you're doing. Why? Because the tax code is favorable that way. The tax code is brutal when you are an employee. W-2 income is taxed at a higher rate than self-employment income.
Yeah.
Full stop. So
You're
if you want to keep more of your money, right? You need to have a little business going, and then just grow it like that, and then just grow it like that, and then just grow it like that. And what young people, my daughters, they're 26 and 29, right? What they are doing is they have their own businesses, and their whole friend network has their own businesses, and they're trading with each other, selling to each other, building out the network that way. No one is trying to gouge anyone. No one is trying to become the billionaire by destroying everyone else. No, just work in your networks for your
Yeah.
own business, and then but the idea is then you get that I could walk you through how you do your taxes, and how you pay far less taxes, how the tax code is so much more favorable. Like,
Mm.
if like a coach would be able to expense a part of his mortgage based on the space that his office space in his house. If he, to the extent that he had a little business going, like this podcast or whatever, he would be able to expense that area out of his house. He'd be able to expense a portion of his utilities. He'd be
Oh
able to
wow.
expense his gas. He would be all the stuff that you spend and you are paying taxes on now as a W-2 employee, you could expense to your business. I mean, the tax code is so much better, for a business owner. And the thing is, and you could make a nice dollar, and you're generating, like $100,000 in revenue after 2 or 3 years, and you're doing better because you keep more of it. That's what I'm saying. If you were working for someone else as a W-2 employee and you made $100,000 in Florida, you would get taxed pretty good, at
Mm-hmm.
least on the federal level. I know Florida is favorable, but if you had $100,000 in revenue for a business, you would be able to cover most of that $100,000 in expenses and depreciation and amortization and all types of tricks that your bookkeeping software will tell you about. I mean, you buy a software thing for like $20, and it'll figure it out for you, and all of a sudden you're not paying anything on anything. Yep, that's real money to you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would say. It is being entrepreneurial. It is having your own little business. You don't need to make $1 million to live a wonderful life and be free.
Right.
Punch your own clock, organize how you want to do your own business. So you're on that right path. And
When you
most
said
young
about the
people,
pressure cleaning, that was really the right path because one of the things I had a friend Rob, and just like Kevin said, my friend Rob was a cook. That was he had to pay child support, so he had a cook's job. But the other thing he did was paint. And I mean, literally, he didn't even have the slightest bit of equipment. When he started, he had a car that could pull a small trailer. And and then he started painting the restaurants we were opening. And I mean, he would have the paint delivered to the restaurant. He would have the rollers. He would leave them in the restaurant because the restaurant was under construction. And just what Kevin said is it changed his entire financial perspective. It started slow, and you could start slow. You could paint a bedroom for $300 and be done in a day. I mean,
Right.
and it's your $300. Like you
but
could
you're
literally,
going to expense the paint. You're going to expense time. There's so many things you can expense out of that $300,
and
and the only thing that rolls to your page one of your 1040 is what you earn after all the things you're allowed to expense. That's the only thing that rolls to page one. On page one is everything you make in your W-2. It's all
Yeah.
taxable. But everything you make in your business, no. The only after you paid all your expenses, and believe me, it's set up for you to be able to it's called dual purpose expenses. A lot of things we do as normal, we can expense to our businesses, right?
Yeah.
And what that is allowing you to do those things without it being taxable. This is this is you keeping your own money. So that's what I'm saying, man. Yes, your
and it
your
just
water pressure
takes like
business.
a business card, 500
Yeah.
business cards for $30, and you just do like I did. I walked in your place and I was looking for somebody and I met this great guy to be on my podcast 4 or 5 times, and we'll probably do another 20 over the years because I was just out there saying, "Hello, my name's Jeff and I do a podcast." You could literally, I mean, my friend Rob is a good example of that's all he does now is paint. I think he's got a van or two. His brother's helping him. I'm not really sure. We haven't been in contact in a long while, but I remember he went from the littlest menial jobs. To the one store we were building in Lake Mary was a $7,000 job that
Oh,
he was basically doing at night after cooking. He was coming in with a friend, and they were covering a lot of paint, they were completing a lot of the restaurant every night. And they had the time because we were under construction. There was no like we can't open until this hall is painted. He 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 was doing it on his own time, and that was a $7,000 deal. And actually, that deal, the way he proposed it was $7,000 for labor. The owners of my restaurant paid for the paint and had it delivered to the location. So, I mean, that's just one kind of deal where he walked away with, for the most part, 7,000 minus what he was paying his brother, which, as far as I understand, according to his brother, his brother was not happy with what he was getting paid. But
Well, see, when you're
Frankie
the
was
business
not a happy camper, but he showed up because Frankie was also in need of whatever it was Rob was providing
was
him.
paying them, yeah. So here's to the extent that you could build your skill set, to the extent that you can get into the trades, right? But the idea is do it under your own shingle. If you
yeah.
know whatever whether it's a mechanic, a plumber, or electrician, any of those type of skills and stuff like that. But do it for you. Do it
So
in the context of your own business. You
yeah.
know, and
So
that's how
I've
you
been
build it, man.
I ain't- so honestly I've been looking into the real estate side, trying to learn a little bit more about that.
Okay.
And what that is, I see that, you know, like us growing up, we wasn't taught about we wasn't taught about money, how money really works, and how money is a tool,
Yeah.
and not to work for money is how money work for you. So I'm learning that now. Reading, reading books and learning and gathering information. I'm thinking I'm gravitating towards more of the real estate side, and trying to go that route.
Oh,
Well,
and
and
I
you
don't want to
get your real
discourage
estate
you.
license.
I don't want to discourage you, Kez, but I just want to give you a cautionary tale about that whole game, about passive income. Okay. Because what what older people have done is they burnt that bridge down. Now, it's not okay. So, in other words, all the books will tell you how they did it, how they were successful
Mm-hmm.
at real estate, at investing, at generating passive income, making your money work for you. That is how you did it when I was coming up. That is how you did it when Coach was coming up. But I'm here to tell you, that these generations broke it. And what you're going to face if you I can put you in touch with a real estate agent who just got his license and stuff like that. This kid is brilliant. He's like you, works hard, smart, innovative. Okay, and I'm telling you, it the mark to make money in real estate is based on how hard is it to sell a house. How about that? How hard is it to buy a house? Okay,
Right.
historically, houses was buying and selling all the time, particularly in Florida, right? And stuff like that. Right now, the volume of house sales is collapsed. And the reason why is the cost of a house is so high that most of the people who want to buy a house can't afford it, and most of the people who could afford to buy it already have a house, and so they're not buying it, and so you have almost no activity. You basically are splitting 4% of the sales price of the house with another agent. two
Yeah.
percent, 2%, right? And yeah, if you're selling a $300,000 house, that's nice money. I mean, that's $6,000 a house or whatever. But if yeah, and these agents made careers selling four and five houses a month, and so you could have a nice living. Yeah, it's great. All the books will tell you. The problem is most of these agents who've been in the game are now selling. They're selling what they used to sell in a month in a year, and you can't live on that. So all I'm saying is until there needs to be a massive correction in residential real estate. I don't
Yeah.
know how it's going to happen, but until we unfreeze, what I'm trying to do will help to unfreeze the market. But the houses are too expensive for the people who want to buy them. And,
Yeah.
and 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 so how do you get, you can't make money that way. And so it became that way because people with money so distorted the real estate market that they broke it. That I cannot go any further than that. And so yeah, I would say you would be better off having your own business, active at not passive income, but um, you know, doing your trade under your shingle. In
Mhm.
other words, if you want to do plumbing work, if you want to do electric work, if you want to do power washing work, if you want to do maintenance work, if you want whatever, you have Kaz's shop.
Right.
And you start and you make it mobile at first, and then when you're generating enough, you get yourself a little storefront. You find yourself a little spot, and whatever, and then you could have a storefront version of it. Get a little website going, and just keep it like that, man. And seriously, you could live a nice life, and making after 5 years, you're making $200,000 a year in revenue. And again, most of that is going to be yours, and most of it will not be taxed. You won't
Yeah,
Right.
be.
So
it's
I got a
definitely
question for you.
what
So
Kevin
okay.
is saying is definitely a good route to pick because, like he said, the tax laws work in your favor under those circumstances, and there is just this sense of freedom you have. It's
Yeah, your
it's
shingle.
yeah, it's you can literally tell the wife and kids, "I'm taking 3 days off. Let's go to the beach," and you're writing your own schedule versus as a realtor, like Kevin said, you're going to work for Remax or you're going to work for Century 21. They're going to write your schedule. You're going to be every weekend, maybe one Sunday a month off. You're going to be like Kevin said, the most thing you're chasing in real estate these days is listings. Like Kevin said, I mean, you get the
Yeah,
listing, and whoever sells it, you get half the deal, which is wonderful. But like
which
Kevin
is
said,
what as long
there's
as you're
not a lot
making
of listings.
sales.
There's not a lot of listings going around. It's
That's
a
Okay.
right.
So
great business. It's almost better to say create your own small business and buy a rental property and then ultimately rent it for a while and sell that house yourself because you're creating your own listing at a profit or fix that house up. But again, that's a niche market too because there's a lot of people doing that now too, and they're
Oh
really,
yeah,
really good at it.
it's really good. But
have
here's the
y'all ever
thing.
so
Yeah,
have y'all ever heard of syndications? Like I know that the housing market is high. I see that a lot of people is going to rent because it's high. So I see that people are buying actual apartments and investing in apartments, and that's how they generate money, like with the real estate. Instead of doing single family, they're doing multifamily. So how do
yes.
you feel about that?
So that's kind of a Donald Trump theory. If you're going to go broke, but why buy a single family home? Why not buy a big building with 20 units? Bankruptcy's bankruptcy and profit's profit. Yeah, it happens
Yeah,
and it works. So recently I ran into a person. She was renting from a doctor. She was renting her house for the last 20 years from a doctor. This doctor is now 85 years old. He's married a 50-year-old wife. The wife knows he's going to be gone soon. They put everything up for sale. He's got 150 single family homes for rentals for sale. Somebody's going to buy the whole lot. Somebody with money is going to buy all 150 homes. And what the lady was telling me was because she'd been there 20 years, he never raised her rent. Whoever buys those 150 homes is going to raise the rent to the
they're gonna
current
raise the
rates.
rent.
And she
Yes.
Yes.
knows she won't have a place to stay in when that deal breaks. When they close that deal at the end of that particular lease, she knows her rent's going to skyrocket. She won't be able to afford it. So, like Kevin said, the market's kind of changed in that respect. As far as can you buy one home? Yeah, you can, but will you? I don't. Or can you get in the? Are you going to be the guy that makes that 150 home deal? No, I doubt it because you're doing the business. But
Yeah.
you have that. If that's your ambition is to get into real estate, I think it's beautiful. I think you should try it. But like Kevin said, he knows somebody, and like my story, the person
I
I
think
know,
it's
Rob, as far I probably bet Rob's driving some kind of fancy sports car because that's the kind of kid he was. He was a little Italian kid with a little ego, so he's probably doing really well. And uh, he, I would say he picked a good route and did really well with it. So generally speaking, the odds are more in your favor in something. But Kevin, take the lead on this
yeah.
one.
So I just give an example, Marquez, because this is an example that's supposed to demonstrate what investors call smart money and what they call dumb money. And let me just, you know, tip you off. You don't want to be the dumb money. Okay. Right. The smart money is the money that gets in at the point where they are going to, when they get out, they're going to make the most money. The dumb money gets in at the point where they're going to lose the most money. Right. And obviously, no one wants to be the dumb money, but most people turn out to be the dumb money. And there's a reason why for that. Okay. So we talked about how you talk about real estate. Okay. So, yes, there was over the last 4 years, if you own multifamily real estate in 2021, it has been a banner 4 years. You are killing it, right? If you owned it in 2021, why? Because rents went up 40%. I'm just,
Yeah.
I mean, rents hadn't gone up 40% in 40 years ever. Okay. Let me put that in perspective. Ever. And how much your multifamily real estate is worth is a function of the rents that you can get for your real estate. Okay. The problem is now that rents have gone up 40%, and most people who rent are having a very hard time affording the rent. It's a national problem that will correct, which means if you buy multifamily over the next 2 or 3 years, right, you're going to enter into a period where rents are going down. And
Right.
why? Because the nation has to solve this problem because working people are eating less in order to afford that rent, which means it's going to return, it's probably going to go down another 20% or so that people, it takes the pressure off people. That's not the time for you to own the multifamily, is when
Mhm.
rents are going down 20%. That's what I'm saying. So
That's,
the
but you may
opportunity
be in a better position in 4 years when the market corrects itself
right.
because you'll have more
Okay.
savings by doing something on a smaller scale, and you'll be
Exactly.
in a
Now
better
you're talking,
position to
coach.
do it. So
So you have
again,
to
not being that I'm the painting a room bedroom enthusiast. I'm just saying that it's a it was a good startup for the kid. I mean, I got to admit, he was a smart
but
kid.
any of these
And
things, seriously, if you go and somehow you become an ASE certified mechanic, and then you do a mobile repair shop, I am telling you, you will write your own ticket. You will be able to, within 5 years, have your own storefront, and you will be doing great because everyone always needs a mechanic. They just need it. AI can't replace that. If you decide to become a plumber and you're good at it and stuff like that, people look, the AI can't replace that. If electrician, Florida is hot, they need the AC, and you specialize in fixing people's AC. You start off mobile, and then you will kill it. Right. This is what I'm saying. You need something that you can do under your own shingle, your business,
Mhm.
Kez Electric,
Yeah.
or like
Kez
Kevin said,
AC. Right, right,
allegedly
right.
Home Depot is offering HVAC classes to people.
Oh, I
Like
know.
Well,
Kevin,
however you can get the skill, the point is have it something that people always need, not have it something that goes up and then goes down. That's the problem with real estate. It goes up and then goes down. I mean, they've really worn it out. And so what is it going to look like the next 10 years? Because you need to make your move right now. Yes. In other words, you need to okay, I'm going to go in this direction. I'm going to do power washing, and I'm going to expand the power washing to this and this and this and this. And so in 5 years, when them babies are now, all in school, and they're looking at you like, hey, I'm getting ready for the car in about 5 years.
Yeah.
You right,
Right.
right. So you need to have your business going. And my concern about the passive investment and the real estate stuff is that the turbulence in the Iraq, because it's in such a weird place now. I don't know what it's going to look like in 5 years, but yes, if it corrects severely and your timing is right, you might find a way to get in where you're going to make money, right? But to me, it just no one knows that now. It's that bad. But I could tell you, any of these other fields and so many others, people need it. They gotta have the AC. They gotta have the electric. They gotta have, the plumbing done. They gotta have the car fixed. They gotta have, the power washing. The house needs, to maintain their value of the house. They need periodically. They have to get the moss off the roof and all that stuff. And your power washing could do all that stuff. These are services people have to have, right? If you build your business on something that you know no matter where the market is, they need it. You will always be able to make some money. That's why the people who make money cutting hair or
Yeah.
styling hair. I mean, people got to have their hair done,
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. Just find your little niche like that, something that you can do that's a value added thing, not just not just you busting rocks. You don't need to do manual labor, because eventually you'll be 40 and you're like, I'm
Right.
tired of doing
Be like me,
Yeah.
it.
60
Real.
and
You
Yeah.
don't need
can't
to do,
work my
wheelbarrow
numbers.
out there in construction. No, I mean, well, okay, I respect them,
Yeah.
but
But it's going to kill them.
how long you
I'm
gonna do
sure
that?
you're right. Cause
Yeah.
I'm 27 9. I'm already, I'm already at that point. So okay, so what you saying that just saying what you saying about the real estate. So basically what you saying right now is right now is not a good time.
I'm saying right now is such a bad time and it's such a big problem because okay, just to give you scale as a nationally, real estate is like $11 trillion. This is a massive thing. I mean, we have 120 million single family homes in the United States. 120 million single family homes in the United States. So it's a big thing. It's way out of whack. It's going to take radical change to fix it, to get it back to where homes are buying and selling and people can afford to buy. And so what that looks like is what I'm saying. That there's no strategy that anyone who's honest with you, and those books have never dealt with what we're dealing with now. That's what I'm saying. There's
Yeah.
no strategy for you to navigate and find a way to make money in real estate right now because it's going to go through radical change. First and foremost, there are very few transactions, and that's how you make your money in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Buying low, selling high in one version or another, right? And as an agent, you're just making money on the transaction. And if there's no transactions or very few transactions, and I'm telling you, so many people are in real estate because it used to be a great business.
Yeah.
A real estate agents used to make. I mean,
Yeah.
Florida. I guarantee you, a quarter of the working class income, your middle class income in Florida is associated with real estate. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it is a hotbed. It has frozen. And so there's so many people already in it who've been doing it for years, losing their shirt. I'm seriously can't keep their lights on because they're not making any money, right? So
Wow.
go talk to them. Go talk to the agents. Right? They'll tell you they're not making the money they made pre-COVID. I mean, they were making money. I mean,
Yeah,
and
he's it's a
that's all I'm
long
saying to
shot
you. It's
now. It's a
it's a
long
long shot
shot
right
now.
now. It's too erratic, and it's much easier for you to navigate closer to home in your space if if you build the business based on providing a local service that people actually need in the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keeping it as local as possible. You could do as much cash business as possible. Got to report something to the IRS because they're gonna be looking, why you driving that nice car, you over here saying that you're on public assistance, what's up? But the fact is you can, almost all business owners have cash business. In other
Uh-huh.
words, they don't report
Yeah,
everything.
you're not gonna. You know how good you're gonna feel when you go. I guess I'm gonna use the metaphorically speaking. Go paint somebody's bedroom, and they give you $400 cash, and you show up at home and you tell the wife and kids, "Let's go out to dinner tonight,"
Mm.
because
It's
it's
off
a
the
good
books.
feeling.
It's
Yeah,
a good
it's a
feeling.
good feeling.
So I'm saying
Right.
it's a nice, you can make a nice living and you're free. It's you generating this
Right.
money.
Yeah.
You're building your customers. You're cutting deals that make sense for you. You're building your network of allies who, you get your vending, you get your supplies from that person, you get this and this and that and all this other stuff. You will continue. It's continuous improvement. The longer you do it, the more you do it, the better you do it, the more efficient you do it, the more money you make. I mean, it just is, and it is clockwork. I mean, as long as you stay in what you know. So you pick your skills, you pick your area, you start working it. Unfortunately, you got to do as boldly as what Coach did,
Yeah.
walk in the neighborhood and giving
No,
people
it's
flashbacks of Trayvon Martin. Yeah, I know it. Going in there, stalking people, asking people questions, and they're like, "Well, hold on,
well,
I don't know you."
well, Quez said it best. He thought I needed help. He saw this
Yeah,
broken
Oh
well,
down old man limping
eh,
along. He
you must be lost, old man. What's going on?
he thought it was this
and, and,
crazy
and,
old man.
and oh, by
But
the
you
way, what
know
you got in your
what?
pocket? What you got in your
We can
pocket?
laugh all you want. I got one of my greatest guests out of it, and I'm gonna do it
No,
again.
I love it. But that's what you know. That's what it takes. It takes. Well, okay. Look what I'm doing. I mean, who am I to go to the new mayor of Seattle and say I got a deal for you?
Yeah.
Well, okay, you got to be confident. I mean, you got to have yourself together. But
Yeah.
but that's how you get stuff done. You got
That's
to
how you get it
boldly
done.
go for
Seriously,
it.
I
Got to be
sent an
bold. Got to
email.
be bold, man. Got to be bold.
Yeah.
I sent an email to a lady. Her name is Temple Grandin. I don't know if you guys know Temple Grandin or not, but she's an autistic scientist. She's an autistic professor. She's an autistic researcher. She's written like 9 books. She was extremely autistic. She was um, nonverbal as a child. She could not speak as a child. I sent her an email. She emailed me back and said, "Do you want me to do your podcast?" I said, "Yes." So she's done it twice now. The last podcast we just did, we talked about her portrait is being hung up at the Smithsonian Institute this next couple of weeks, alongside Steven Spielberg's and Jamie Dimon's, which I don't exactly understand why Jamie Dimon's portrait is being hung up at the Smithsonian, but I mean, she's this incredible scientist and researcher. I just sent out an email. That's what you got to do sometimes. Just get them business cards the old school way.
Yeah.
And
And get out there, and people respect that. Actually, they respect the fact that you are trying to make it happen,
Mm.
that you and that when you approach them, you do have something to say. You're not
I'm gonna do it
stuttering and
again. Believe me
sputtering.
when I tell you,
Yeah,
Kevin, Quez, I'm gonna be out there again. It's just the schedule. My schedule with Christmas and the New Year has been off. But believe
Yeah.
me when I tell you, you're gonna see my truck out there. You see this
that's
crazy old
good.
Yeah.
man
But coach, I
limping
gotta
I
ask.
along.
love to see you again, man. I love to see you again, man.
But coach, I gotta
I'll
ask
be
you a question, my friend. I mean, seriously, you like right now. See, I don't know what's going on, but we need to stabilize your lighting because you're going back and forth between like you and the witness protection program.
Oh,
Like you.
you know what?
Mean, I mean, seriously, did you see him, Kez? I mean, he's like in the shadow, like we're not supposed to see his face
I
because
forgot to
because
turn on
he's
all the lighting.
yeah, well, yes, that's what I'm trying to say. This is a professional podcast,
Yeah,
and,
man.
and don't say just because me and Kez got the light on us just because we black. Look, you need some light too.
I forgot all the
You need
lights.
some light too. We got the light on, but it's not. It's not just because we
I got
black.
all kinds of lighting in this room. I forgot to turn it all
Yes,
on.
perfect. Because I'm telling you, when you go back and watch the tape of this podcast,
Man,
half the time, I'm serious. It's like
God,
you know
yeah.
those interviews where Deep Throat is back over there and he's in the dark and they have the fake voice for his. That's what you were looking
I
like,
was
man.
sure glad you said something right at the end of the podcast. I mean, I could have resolved this an hour ago.
Well, okay, I admit I was enjoying it. I was enjoying it.
It's
I
Okay,
was
that's
saving it.
funny,
I
man.
was saving. No,
Man, I got so much lighting in this room you cannot imagine.
but that's
I
okay.
just
No, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna
It's
be
gonna
all
be
right.
great. It's gonna be
You
great
see,
because we talked about
yeah.
it. So now people are gonna say, "Oh, he did pay the light bill. He just didn't realize he didn't turn the lights on."
And then
That's all
turn the
right.
light on. Well, you could just say, hey, coach, play it off, man. Just say you got a face for radio. You know what's wrong with that? I got a face for radio. I had.
I always say I look like somebody on America's Most Wanted. So
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem.
this
All
has been
right.
great,
So
guys. This has been Quez. Go ahead. I mean, did you get some good information out of this? Do you feel like we
Yeah,
did?
honestly, yeah. So for to say, y'all honestly did get some good information out of it. Just learning from y'all and learning from other people around me and learning from people that I didn't talk to. It's sound almost about the same, and I think with just things in life, period, you just keep going, keep pushing to whatever you want to do in life. You take advice, either take it, receive it, and then you do whatever you feel as though is best for you when you receive that information. Um,
that's right.
Yeah,
All right.
that's true because, like I tell my wife, the kids are never listening, but the kids never listen, but they're always listening. Take what you
yeah,
Yeah.
want from it.
Yeah.
Decipher what you want from it. This is not. we're not the final answer, and we're not professors, but I mean, at 60 years old, I've got a lot of life experience. I've seen it all, and like I said, I could talk
Yeah.
about Frankie all day. He was a crazy ass kid. I hated cooking with him because I never knew what was next. But you know
What was
what?
that?
I I knew I mean Rob was a crazy ass kid. I never liked working in the restaurant he worked at, but I know for a fact he's doing really well.
Yeah.
He was a go-getter, and he probably passed out business cards. He probably didn't look like me. He didn't look like he was in distress or nothing. He was pretty.
But no, I think it just, me personally, it's great to just learn from different people, man. Definitely from people that's older than you, that got a little bit more experience. I don't think you can really ever go wrong with that because they was here before you. So if they telling you something, it's because they don't went through it or seen somebody else go through it, and they even learned from the next person that they seen go through it or they went through it themselves, and they learned from a life experience, and they just giving you that information so you won't make the same mistakes. So
Right.
yeah,
Life is
No.
too difficult to make. It's better to not make other people's mistakes. Let people tell you, yeah, I tried that and I was horrible, and take their word for it. It was horrible. And if it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. So that's
right.
another somebody telling you you're gonna make $1 million if you invest $50. My guess is you're gonna be out $50.
Yeah, most likely.
Indeed.
Most likely.
Unless you invest that $50 in yourself, Marquez.
Right. Now
Unless you,
that's
yeah,
entirely different, but you don't need nobody to
that's
convince you to do that.
yeah,
You
do
just do
that. You
it.
invest in you. That's exactly right. Whatever the skill development, whatever the little, software, whatever the little, life hack that you could pick up from any of us and stuff like that, you just keep on absorbing it, man. You know, it only gets better if you keep on learning,
Right.
right?
Right.
Even the mistakes are lessons.
Right.
They're the opportunities that, okay, I won't do that again. What could I have done differently? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's enough of the of that portion of the podcast. We only got a few more minutes. We need to talk about them babies. We need to talk
But they
about them
doing it. They
babies,
doing.
man.
They doing good,
How they
man.
doing?
I had to come
Can
downstairs
we see
because
some
they.
pictures?
I,
Can we
yeah,
see
I
some
give you some,
pictures? I
I
know,
give you some pictures, man. I give you some
but yeah, we need
pictures.
some pictures right here.
Yeah,
Come on now.
I
Yeah,
got
let me
you.
see
I
the
got
little
you. I
one.
got you. I seen some pictures, but I had to come downstairs because they actually going crazy upstairs right now. I was
Is that
kicking
right?
feeling that driving me crazy. I had to come downstairs because I didn't want it to be too
Yeah, we're gonna
loud with
say
my
go
mama.
around the house with the panoramic view of all them babies screaming. Why
No,
you telling where
I
you
know,
been?
I
Where
know,
you
I know.
been?
But man, honestly, man, I enjoy. Sometimes it could be like frustrating a little bit, but sometimes I just look at them and I just be like, wow, like I actually have a little me, and watching them
That's
grow up and watching them develop, man, it's amazing, man. It's amazing.
Oh,
That's beautiful.
Kez, I'm telling you, man, all the way through the process, you're gonna love it.
Yeah,
You're gonna love it. I mean, right
that's
now,
what
it's
keep me
like
going too, man. That's what keep me going. That's what keep me like I got the no. I don't know what it's gonna be. I don't know what it is, but I know I'm going somewhere. And I know I'm going somewhere, but I got to go somewhere. I got to
oh,
get there.
You'll
oh
get
yeah,
there. You'll
I
get
ain't
there.
getting there. But man, I'm telling you, it's gonna get to a point, and you look at your man, and you used to change them diapers,
Yeah.
and now you on the court, and he
Oh yeah.
breaking you down, or he breaking you down off the dribble. He
Yeah.
causing you to break your ankle
Yeah.
and taking you to the hole, man. I mean, and
Yeah.
that's your man. That's your. I mean,
Right. Right.
yes, that's. I'm telling you, man. Your chest will just, and the first time you tip one, or the first, or you celebrate, them accomplishing something. They scored their first touchdown or whatever it is. It is so many things, and it's from, hey, the first time that little man says, "Daddy."
Yeah, man. It's amazing, man. You like
Oh,
the
I mean,
superheroes.
this thing is gonna be coming down here.
That's why I just got speechless.
Leave me alone
Yeah.
now. I mean, this thing, my man just called me daddy.
Yeah,
I mean,
man. It's
so
amazing, man, because you like the superhero. Like, oh, no,
yes,
I'm just smiling so hard because like it's really amazing, man. I don't even know how to really much explain it, but it's just amazing. It's amazing.
well, it's love when they look at you and you just take out your wallet. You
Yeah.
don't even ask questions. You just say, all right,
Man,
all
I don't
It's
even
right,
like
have
my
to.
baby.
little broke friend.
Yeah, mean, hey, that's why. But it's a beautiful thing. I think it's the most important thing we do is we raise our kids. So
Yeah,
enjoy that
that's my.
process, man,
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
appreciate it.
you'll blink, and they'll be out running the streets doing what they do, and that's beautiful. That's what you raised them to do. Raised
Mhm.
them to make their own way.
Right.
But they're not gonna be there. So that's why
Yeah,
you
that's
gotta
the only
enjoy them while
thing,
they
man.
are.
I can't see that right now. I can't see
I
that right
know
now.
you're at the early stage.
I'm
It's
at the
true.
early stage.
So
Right
guys,
now, you
we
just want some peace and quiet. I hear you, man. I hear you. I hear you. But
Yeah,
try to enjoy it while you can.
for real.
Kevin, Quez, we kicked this off just like we should. We undersold it. We over delivered. We are real people, real stories, and meaningful talks. This was a beautiful conversation, and this is
I
the
love
chair
it.
across the aisle. And we're going to
Yeah,
do it again
appreciate you.
because politics is not the only thing that goes on in this world. There's real life and real solutions and real conversations, and I just absolutely adored this conversation. Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
Hey,
Coach. Thank you, Kaz.
before I get off,
Y'all take care.
you want
Yes.
to say to the world, man, if you got anything going on personally, just keep going, keep pushing, stay strong. You can do whatever you put your mind to. Don't let nobody else tell you
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
different. Keep
Absolutely.
pushing, and you got this.
Persevere. Persevere.
Persevere. You
Kevin,
got this.
persevere. Stay with this new thing because it's a beautiful idea. It's got a lot of potential. Just like you said, it's going to be
Oh,
huge.
we're
Yeah.
gonna make it happen because
Yes,
we got to
sir.
solve this problem. The next step, if we don't solve this problem, we're gonna lose social order in America. We're gonna lose social order
You
in
just
America.
need to
We
keep
can't
going
have that.
doing. You got to keep
Yeah.
your chipping away at it because this will be huge. All
Yeah.
right,
It's gonna
guys.
be.
All
Take
right.
care,
We're
fellas.
going to do it
Be
again.
Yeah, man.
well.
Two
We'll
to
be
three
talking
weeks,
soon.
but
Hey,
you'll
I'm
be
gonna send
hearing
them
from
Yes.
me
pictures now.
sooner than that.
That's right. And we following up with them pictures now.
Yeah, I got
Oh yeah, we need
you.
them pictures. Oh,
I
all
got
of
you. I
them.
got
All
you.
of them. All
Good
right. All
night,
All
man.
right.
right. Take
Good
care
night,
now. Be
guys.
well.
Good
All
night.
Good
right.
night now.